China's rapid rise as a global power is not only about skyscrapers, technology, or economic reforms. At the heart of this transformation lies one of the strongest forces shaping its future: education. In China, education is seen as the foundation of personal success, family pride, and national strength. From the earliest years of life to the highest levels of academia, the system is designed to cultivate discipline, knowledge, and ambition. Today, we begin our journey into China's education system, exploring how it works, what makes it unique, and why it plays such a crucial role in the country's development. In China, early childhood education is taken very seriously. Kindergartens, known as Yuan, open their doors to children as young as 3 years old. But these are far from simple play centers. They are carefully designed environments where the foundations of both academic learning and personal development are laid. Children are introduced to numbers, simple mathematics, and the basics of language. But that's only the beginning. Teachers also emphasize social interaction, teamwork, and respect for rules. Even at this young age, Chinese education focuses on building discipline, responsibility, and a sense of belonging to the community. What makes Chinese kindergartens unique is the way they also give children a taste of different life skills and future professions. Through creative activities like role play, painting, music, and even small science experiments, children explore their talents and interests. For example, one child might pretend to be a doctor, another might act as a teacher, while others try cooking or building with blocks. These activities are not just games. They help children imagine possible futures and develop curiosity about the world. Most importantly, Chinese kindergartens work to shape children not just as students, but as individuals. Emotional education, respect for elders, and cooperation with peers are constantly reinforced. Parents and teachers believe that these early lessons in character and responsibility are as valuable as academic knowledge, setting the stage for a lifetime of learning. When children move from kindergarten to primary school, usually around the age of 6, the real academic journey begins. Primary education in China is structured, competitive, and deeply valued by both families and society. Students typically spend 6 years in primary school, where the focus is on building strong foundations in math, Chinese language, and moral education. One fascinating detail about early math education in China is the use of finger counting methods. Unlike the simple 1 to 10 finger counting in many countries, Chinese children often learn a unique system that allows them to represent numbers up to 10 to 99 with just one hand. This method is not only practical, but also improves their ability to visualize numbers and perform calculations mentally. For many students, it becomes a lifelong tool for quick mental arithmetic. But education in Chinese primary schools is not just about numbers and characters. Children are also taught music, art, physical education, and moral lessons. There is a strong emphasis on respect for teachers, discipline, and developing habits of hard work. Daily homework and frequent tests are common, even in the early grades. Parents play an active role as well. It's not unusual for families to sit with their children every evening to review lessons, ensuring that no child falls behind. The atmosphere can be intense, but it reflects the cultural belief that education is the key to future success. After completing 6 years of primary education, Chinese students enter junior middle school, usually around the age of 12. This stage lasts 3 years and focuses on expanding core subjects: Chinese, mathematics, English, physics, chemistry, and politics. Junior middle school is where students first feel the intensity of competition because their performance here will determine whether they can enter a good senior high school. Senior high school, which covers another 3 years, is even more demanding. Classes often start as early as 7:30 in the morning and finish late in the evening, with students studying well into the night. The curriculum is rigorous, including advanced sciences, literature, history, and political education. At this stage, nearly everything revolves around preparing for the most important event in a student's life: the Gaokao, China's national university entrance exam. One unique feature of Chinese secondary education is the heavy use of after-school tutoring and cram schools. Many families spend significant amounts of money on extra lessons, believing that every hour of additional study could mean a better score and therefore a brighter future. This has created a culture where education is not only about school hours, but about constant learning, discipline, and sacrifice. Despite the pressure, Chinese secondary schools also emphasize collective spirit. Students often live in dormitories, share meals, and take part in sports or cultural activities that strengthen teamwork and resilience. These experiences shape them into hardworking, determined, and socially connected individuals, ready to face the academic and personal challenges ahead. Once students survive the intense years of high school and pass the Gaokao exam, they enter the world of higher education. China today has more than 3,000 universities and colleges, with over 40 million students enrolled, the largest higher education system in the world. At the top stand elite institutions such as Tsinghua University and Peking University in Beijing, sometimes called China's Harvard and MIT. These universities are incredibly selective, often accepting less than 1% of applicants in certain programs. Admission is considered a lifetime honor, not just for the student, but for their entire family. What many outside China don't know is how specialized and diverse the system has become. For example, China has universities dedicated solely to areas like traditional Chinese medicine, national defense technology, or even petroleum engineering. There are also so-called double first-class universities, a government initiative to build world-class research centers that can compete directly with top Western institutions. One fascinating detail is that Chinese universities are not only about academics, they also play a big role in shaping political loyalty and national identity. Students often take mandatory courses in Marxism, Chinese history, and ideology, designed to ensure alignment with national values. At the same time, universities encourage entrepreneurship, with many campuses hosting innovation hubs, incubators, and startup competitions. Another little-known fact: dorm life in Chinese universities is very different from the West. Most students live in rooms of 4 to 8 people, with shared bathrooms, limited privacy, and strict dormitory closing hours at night. This creates strong social bonds, but also teaches discipline and community life. Finally, Chinese higher education is increasingly international. More and more students study abroad, especially in the United States, the UK, and Australia. But at the same time, China is also attracting tens of thousands of international students every year. In fact, cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Hangzhou now have global campuses where foreign students live side by side with Chinese peers, something that reflects China's ambition to become an education superpower, not just domestically, but globally. While much attention is given to China's universities, an equally fascinating but lesser-known side of the education system is vocational and technical training. In fact, China has built one of the largest vocational education networks in the world, with over 11,000 schools and nearly 30 million students. Unlike the stereotype of vocational schools in many countries, China's system is highly advanced and deeply integrated with the nation's economy. Students can specialize in hundreds of fields, from robotics, artificial intelligence, and modern manufacturing, to agriculture, hospitality, and even tea culture. Yes, there are programs where students learn the art of tea making as a professional skill, something that reflects China's deep traditions while also turning cultural heritage into employable expertise. Another surprising detail is the use of high-tech training tools. Many vocational schools are equipped with virtual reality simulators for piloting drones, operating heavy machinery, or even practicing surgery. In agriculture schools, students use digital simulators to learn how to drive tractors and manage smart farms before they ever step into a real field. These schools are also directly linked to China's economic planning. Local governments and major companies collaborate to design curricula, ensuring that graduates are immediately ready for the job market. For example, a city known for automobile production will have vocational schools focused on car design, assembly, and maintenance. This way, education is not only about learning, it is about fueling entire industries. What makes Chinese vocational education truly unique is the balance between tradition and innovation. A student may spend one day programming industrial robots and the next day learning traditional calligraphy or culinary arts. This combination of cutting-edge skills and cultural depth gives Chinese graduates a distinctive advantage in both domestic and global markets. Perhaps nothing defines Chinese education more than the Gaokao, the National College Entrance Examination. Often called the toughest exam in the world, Gaokao is a life-changing event for millions of Chinese students every year. The exam lasts 2 to 3 days, covering subjects such as Chinese, mathematics, a foreign language, usually English, and electives like physics, chemistry, or history, depending on the chosen track. What makes Gaokao so intense is not just the difficulty of the questions, but the enormous pressure. The results largely determine which university a student can attend, and by extension, their career and future opportunities. The scale is staggering. Every June, nearly 12 million students sit for Gaokao across the country. During this time, entire cities adjust to support the exam. Construction work is paused near exam centers to reduce noise. Police escort students stuck in traffic, and even airplanes are rerouted to ensure silence during listening tests. Parents often wait anxiously outside schools for hours, treating the exam like a national event. One little-known detail is how deeply families prepare for Gaokao. Some parents rent apartments near top schools for years just so their children can focus entirely on study. Others cook specific brain food meals during exam season, believing certain diets improve performance. Another unique aspect is the role of technology and security. Because of the high stakes, cheating prevention is extreme. Students must pass metal detectors, have ID facial recognition scans, and in some provinces, even drones patrol above exam centers to detect illegal signals. Despite the stress, Gaokao is seen as a fair system in a country of 1.4 billion people. It gives rural students the same chance as urban ones, at least in theory. For many, scoring well in Gaokao is the only path to break out of poverty and enter elite universities. That's why this exam is not just an academic test. It is a cultural and emotional phenomenon, shaping the hopes and fears of an entire generation. China's future is not being built in factories or skyscrapers. It is being shaped in classrooms. Every lesson, every exam, every late-night study session is an investment into tomorrow's power. Think about this. By 2035, China is expected to have the world's largest pool of highly educated workers. Imagine millions of engineers, scientists, doctors, and innovators flooding the global economy. This is not science fiction. This is China's strategy. Education has already given China its rockets, its high-speed rail, its AI breakthroughs. But what happens when the next generation, even more skilled, takes over? We are talking about a future where China might dominate not only manufacturing, but also the most advanced industries: biotechnology, quantum computing, green energy, and even space colonization. And here's the most striking part. Unlike many countries where education is viewed as personal success, in China it is a national mission. Every student is not just learning for themselves, they are learning for the rise of their country. That collective mindset, multiplied by over 1 billion people, is what makes China's future potential almost limitless. China's education system is often compared to Europe and the United States, and the differences are striking. First, the strengths. Chinese students are known for their discipline, endurance, and mastery of hard sciences. In international rankings like PISA, Chinese students dominate in math, physics, and problem solving, leaving even the best Western schools behind. Families, teachers, and the government all share one mission: academic excellence. That collective focus creates an environment where hard work is the norm, not the exception. But there are challenges. In Europe and America, creativity, debate, and individual expression are strongly encouraged. In China, the pressure to conform and achieve high test scores often overshadows creativity. Students may know how to solve equations faster than anyone, but sometimes struggle when it comes to critical thinking or independent innovation. And then, the weaknesses. Over-reliance on exams, especially the Gaokao, can limit opportunities for students who may be talented in arts, sports, or entrepreneurship. Unlike many Western systems that support multiple career paths, the Chinese model is often described as a narrow tunnel. If you succeed in exams, doors open. If you fail, many close. Still, China is changing. In recent years, reforms have aimed to encourage creativity, reduce exam pressure, and open doors to international collaboration. The big question is, can China combine its unmatched discipline with Western-style innovation? If it succeeds, the world may witness an education system that outperforms both East and West. And so we've reached the end of this journey through China's education system. A system that is not just about books and exams, but about shaping the destiny of a nation. From kindergartens where children take their first steps, to the intense Gaokao, to futuristic universities aiming for the stars. Education has been the silent engine behind China's rise, and perhaps the key to its future dominance. But the real question is, what do you think? Will China's model inspire the world, or will the pressure and discipline eventually hold it back? One thing is certain, the story of Chinese education is far from over, and the next chapters will be even more fascinating. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to CountryQuest, and hit the bell icon so you won't miss our next journey into the hidden truths of the world's most intriguing countries. And let us know in the comments, which part of China's education system surprised you the most? Until next time, this is CountryQuest, bringing the world closer to you.